Hey there, chart friends. Lamont here from JKS, checking in on the solar sector and the wind name NEE and that clean energy ETF. Okay, so TAN, starting with our ETF TAN, we have our zone of interest here. Obviously, the market had a selling day, and so many names were coming down to test supports or were selling off, whatever. And we were just looking to bottom fish potentially off of these lows here, knowing after this double top happened, knowing that we were likely to stay range bound, right? So let's see, let's zoom in here. We are looking for a daily high or low. Anything over 106.88 will be one. And let's check the hourly trend. It is bearish. And oh, that's nice. So the first hourly oversold bounce today for that. Oh, it was oversold all the way down here, but of course it prints on the close. So on the way down, the first oversold reading, I should say, made for a nice bounce play. And if you did get this bottom fill, this is a situation where I very likely would have taken off this entire lower fill just to get my top fill in a better location, right? So that the break even for this top fill would be over here, and I would be back to one out of 3 fills, and then I can look to play lower in case we get back down here, get the hourly extended again. So for example, if we were to have left this level here, I would have been fine with starting to scale a little bit higher, knowing that the hourly got oversold again, and then looking for one more fill down here that's a bit more extreme. But whatever the case may be, while we are range bound, we are just going to be mindful of the range. The key support is 106.88, but it can break, and as long as it doesn't see a lot of follow through below, then it'll be fine. We'll maintain this range. So that being said, what are we looking at for tomorrow? We are just watching these ranges, making sure that they hold, the supports hold if we're a bull, and we can be bottom fishing as well if the bulls are able to get some hourly bounce off of these support levels, and it is meaningful enough to, like, say, test the center area, or maybe 2 or 3 strong candles, enough range that you would anticipate an hourly high or low, then bulls can be positioning for plays like that and just look to test like the upper end of the range, right? And maybe take profit prior to getting all the way up there. Okay, so as long as we're range bound, we're just looking to play the range. Key daily high or low support is 107.50, 106.88 I should say, and key resistance is 125.98. Alrighty, JKS. So another rejection from this upper zone of resistance, which that's weird. I thought we had a box drawn up there, but whatever the case may be, zone is still acting as strong resistance. Whenever we pull back, we'll be looking for a healthy daily higher. Well, we are range bound, so it could it's not, we're not really looking for trending, right? So while we are looking for a daily higher low, because this is a lot of space for one, we are being cognizant that we're in this big consolidation structure. And so, for example, big bounces like this can just like fade away because this is potentially a monthly flag. So we're just chopping about still. And let's check in on the hourly trend. All right, so hourly trend is still bullish. However, this is enough pullback that we would anticipate a lower high. Yesterday was also enough pullback, or rather going into yesterday was enough pullback to anticipate a lower high, and we did get that lower high, but did not break to lower lows for any kind of meaningful follow through. So yeah, so while this is quite a lot of distance and we will anticipate an hourly lower high tomorrow, it doesn't necessarily mean that that lower high play can develop into something larger. And realize that if you are in this macro structure flag, right, there are plenty of them, well, not really, well, there are plenty of EQs that have broken bullish recently out of like big EQs like PLTRs daily, right? Big EQ break, space, right? You see space is actually a huge weekly EQ, right? A big even monthly EQ that is breaking bull. So my point is that when you're in these consolidation structures and if they have a certain bias to them, right? And EQs are typically continuation patterns, flags, pennants, typically continuation patterns. And when you see something like JKS, which is potentially a flag, then you want to be way more cautious on the shorts, even though there have been multiple rejections. Like, I'm not saying the plays aren't there, but just be mindful that if this flag were to confirm bullish, that it would very quickly roll over shorts. So just be very cautious when you're shorting. Now, that being said, for longs, we're looking for a daily higher low, anything over 57.67 being one. Hourly trend is still bullish. We'll look for a lower high to be set under 76.53 and a lower low under 69.49 to have bulls really scouting for that higher low. Okay, and for on the daily time frame, if you're looking for positions, I would be bottom fishing the range. Again, always an hourly oversold. There's really this really isn't set up yet, so I'm not really terribly concerned about that. The only real setup for tomorrow would be bottom fishing these supports here, or top fishing an hourly lower high off of this high. All right. Okay, so let's see. Let's start with the daily time frame on run. So run still coming down to test this 67.95 level. I have it drawn because it was the highest close of this this last little leg down. Theoretically, there should be some, like, typically prior resistance will offer support, right? So we technically are looking for a daily higher low over 63.52 still. Now, that being said, obviously this is way more pullback than the bulls want to see, and at this point, you don't expect continuation, right? Because of all this pullback. So we're probably looking at something kind of channeling, huh? So we're not terribly confident in our resistance line, but I think the support trend line is quite valid. And we also know that we have this highest close here, all this consolidation here. It's unlikely that bears will be able to punch through it, given especially given where they came from, right? So it would take a significant amount of volume to penetrate all of this zone, like to just break down to 49 without a lot of volume. So I'm inclined to believe that there will be believe that there will be a little bit of relief bounce, if anything, before re-entering this structure. But who knows, right? If the market bears really pour it on tomorrow, then yeah, sure, maybe we can break down there. But I'm leaning towards the potential of a bounce. This is kind of pretty much a waterfall from this last high here at 81.73. I'm sure there were regular trading hours bounces, but oh, that's fine. Not perfect, but for me, as a I don't have them on usually, and I would just consider this a bit of a waterfall. Okay, so I would still be fine. Yeah, I'd be fine with those. If we came in there with one more fill, obviously you feel a little sus about it, for lack of a better word. I mean, theoretically, this fill you could have taken some profit off, but and I probably would, right? When you get a situation like if you did get this fill up here and then it opened up and you had this huge crash through, because this position is underwater so much, this is likely a situation where I would look to take off this entire position. Although that's pretty tricky, honestly. It's a fine amount of range, but at least I would have anticipated more bounce than that, so I might have got caught there. Yeah, I might have got caught there, honestly. But either way, I would be fine with it, even if I had all the fills. And your risk should be managed for in case this level gets taken out. So no biggie. That's really all we're looking out for. And whenever we bounce, we'll be looking for an hourly lower high under 81.73. FSLR is range bound. Range bound came to, oh, perfect, came back to test this low end of the range, and we were being mindful of this channel trend line now has been affirmed very well. And so if you got this trade, ideally you've chopped it up already for some profit and are protecting here because the potential of a breakout is there. However, as long as we're range bound, that's all we care about, just the range. So just watching these two rectangles, roughly 97 to 112, 110-ish. All right. So checking the hourly trend, I believe there is the potential that the bulls are already setting an hourly higher low here at 101.01, and if they hold this, at 197, if the bulls can hold this 197 level, break to higher highs over 104.93, they'll change the hourly trend and have us confident that daily low has been set, but we would just be mindful of all these resistances up here. Okay, that's pretty much it. Whoa, my goodness. Oh man, 79.61, and what is this? No, saved it. Missed it by a penny. I have no idea what happened today, but so wow, this is exceptional. That's a lot of volume. Feels like this is news or something. All right, so whatever the case may be, we're looking for a daily higher low. Anything over 78.54 will be one. On the hourly time frame, the hourly trend is bearish. And oh, okay, so it's not terrible. So very similar, right? If you have this like a lot of weakness that dumps through your zones, then maybe you'll want to consider taking some off. So I do believe there was opportunity for that. Not much, honestly. I probably would have bailed on this at the end of the day. Like if this happens to you, right? If you have all three scales and it's closing near the low of the day, just bail. Just bail. You know, it's only 2% max risk on the trade, and you're obviously your size your position appropriately given your account size. But you know, to just take it instead of 2% risk and just taking it here at 1% just to be safe, I feel like I would do that honestly because I just wouldn't feel great about how this is set up. You know, this close. This is so much volume into it. That being said, looks like there was a lot of buying at the end of the day. No, that's super sus. I would not want to be swinging that overnight. Okay, so whenever we see some bounce, technically this is an hourly lower high here, but whenever we see some bounce, we will. I mean, really, I just care about the daily at this point, right? The all-time high resistance of 87.69, really. But the last hourly lower high that was meaningful for this before this move down was here at 85.73. So I would say anything under that we would consider an hourly lower high. Yeah, this is very odd. Then again, you know, if you're in the same IRA position as me from like here or here or here, I forget, one of these lows, who cares? I was here. It was here. And then it came back all the way down. Anyways. What was it this? Gosh, I don't remember. Anyway, yeah. If whenever we took that trade, you should be protected. There's tons of space. Alrighty, so ICLN also coming into our zone of interest. Okay, now this is looking like a little bit better. All right, so we were being mindful of the potential. This is, I believe, an hourly. Yes. So we were being mindful of the potential of this trend line to hold. And again, a situation where if you get all three fills, it's very unlikely that you're going to, and it's unlikely that you're going to leave this zone of interest. So like on this hour, after you see this close, you probably want to consider at least taking out this position, right? Because it was a bull break with very little follow through. See what I'm saying? So you have this low, this lower high, a higher low, and then a higher high, right? Breaks over this high here, and then it comes right back down. So as soon as you see that rejection after that failed break, or if this close, or even stopping out here, you'll want to take off some of your position, right? So let me bring back that box. So if you got this low fill here and this second fill here, then you probably want to take off at least half after this failure, right? Just to lower your cost basis, and then you'll have more, excuse me, more capital ready to deploy should we come down lower. Okay, but that being said, this has the potential to be a flag, right? On the weekly chart, this has the potential to be a flag. And what you want to see then is the daily trend change with very little follow through. So the bulls really need to show up tomorrow and defend this this lower low here, right? Because you want to see these lower lows, but we have no follow through. And so if we do see some bounce, we'll be mindful of the potential of like this trend line offering some resistance. All right, so I'll kill this. We don't need this anymore. This is really all we care about right now. This was part of that trade. And I do like the fact that the bears were unable to close the gap, right? So this high here was 29.46 and this low here was 29.63. So they were unable to close the gap fully, which is typically a good sign for the other way. All right, so we will going into tomorrow for ICLN. We'll just watch for the potential of an hourly trend change back to the bulls. So the bulls will need to hold this low of 29.63 and break the higher highs over 30.91 in order to change that hourly trend, and have bears scouting a daily lower high with anything over under 33.57 being one. All right, I believe that covers. Is there another one? No, that's it. That covers it. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you all soon.